Forget the app overload. AI tools are here to streamline your day without the clutter. They're not magic, but they're close when used right. Welcome to the Mr. Productivity Podcast. I'm Mark Struczewski, your guide to getting stuff done. Now, before we dive into today's AI productivity hacks, grab my free daily newsletter, The Productive Life, at MrProductivity.com, M-I-S-T-E-R, MrProductivity.com. You'll get quick tips to boost your efficiency every day. Let's make it happen. All right, AI is here to stay. I remember when I first heard AI, I'm like, I'm never going to use AI. And the reason why is because I was intimidated. I was scared of AI. Now, AI, listen to this, AI is a tool in my productivity toolbox. If you were a carpenter, you would have a hammer and a screwdriver and a pair of pliers and a whole host of other tools to get the job done. Think of AI as not Lord and Master like Skynet from Terminator. It's a tool, and if you use it right, it can make your life easier. So I hope, because you're listening to this episode, that you are at least curious about AI and how AI can help you. There's no need to fear AI. I don't foresee AI killing all human beings at this point. But if you're not learning how to embrace the power of AI in your everyday life, I truly think you're missing an incredible gift, an incredible tool. So I could make this podcast episode on AI productivity hacks like 5 hours, and I'm not going to do that. I want to keep this short and simple, and most importantly, usable. So I'm going to talk about 3 of the top AI tools that you can try today. And I'm going to tell you how I use AI today. And I want you to take what you've learned on this episode and think about, okay, I am not using AI. I'm going to try this. Or I am using AI, but I never thought about using it for that. And take the information and go with it and try it. You're not going to hurt anything. So the number one AI tool I use every day may surprise you, because you probably think I'm going to say ChatGPT. I am not. I'm going to say Grok. This is the XAI. This is an Elon Musk product. And I have gone on a journey from using Anthropic's Claude to OpenAI's ChatGPT. Now I'm on Grok, and I absolutely love the power and the accuracy of Grok. Now, I'm going to tell you a really special use case of Grok that you may not be aware of, so stay tuned. We're going to get to that in just a second. Second is ChatGPT. This is from OpenAI. I was having a lot of issues with ChatGPT not being able to keep track of conversations, not being able to remember from day to day what I was talking about. Grok, for some reason, and I don't understand AI programming, I don't have to tell Grok to go look at another thread. It can go and say, hey, we talked about this a few days ago in another thread. It does it on its own. When I left ChatGPT about a month ago, it was not able to do that. You would have to say, please go check this thread for the information I'm asking for. Now, it might have changed because goodness knows AI is changing every hour of every day. So it could possibly change, but the tool I use, number one, is Grok. The second one I've used and recommend is ChatGPT. And the third one on my list is Notion AI. Now, full disclosure, I don't use anything with Notion. I have nothing bad to say about Notion. It's just I'm a man of simplicity. And the workflow system I have for my productivity serves me, and I can't see the benefit of learning Notion when what I'm using works. Now, am I closing the door on Notion? Of course not. But right now, I am not using Notion or Notion AI. I am also not using Gemini AI or Meta AI because I don't trust Google and Meta. I'm just going to throw it out there. They may be the best AIs in the world. I don't trust people who have social media and search engines. And you may be saying, Mark, wait a minute, Grok is associated with X. We'll get to that in just a moment. So again, these are not the only 3 tools out there, or if you're adding Gemini and Meta AI, these are not the only 5 AI tools out there. If you went to your favorite AI and asked them for a list, and by the way, it's a them, not a he or she, and asked them for a list of all the AI tools, you would be amazed at how many AI tools are out there. There are video-specific AIs and text-based AI, and the list goes on and on. So this is something that is going to be changing literally every minute of every hour of every day, probably for the rest of our lives. So how do you set them up? Well, I always recommend starting with the free tiers. Grok's got a free tier, ChatGPT's got a free tier, Notions AI has an add-on trial. Just go take whatever AI you want to use for a try and see if it works for you. And the good news is you can take the same prompt, you can take the same task, give it to Grok, give it to ChatGPT, give it to Notion, give it to Meta, give it to Gemini, give it to Claude, and see which one gives you the best results. I will say, for some reason, all the AIs have a problem with counting. I don't understand. You can say, I want a post that's 453 characters or less, and it gives you one that's 510. And I've experienced this across all AIs. I don't know what the problem is. They do a great job with everything, but apparently they have a problem counting. Now, once you have got an AI that you're comfortable with, then start using it more and more. The more you use an AI, the more it gets to know you. And if you're not familiar with this, you can actually go in the settings and customize it. I identify as Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. So in my customization, I say, hey, I'm Tigger-like. I am bouncy. I am happy. I'm optimistic. And it'll craft your content based on what you put in the customization settings. So don't lose sight of that. The more you use it, the more you'll fall in love with it, and the less you'll be afraid of it. Now, how do I use AI? Now, remember, when I first started, I denied using AI. I said, I'm never going to use AI. Now I use AI every day. So you're listening to the Mr. Productivity Podcast. What I do is I get the transcript from this podcast and I feed it into Grok. And I say, okay, I need a description. I need an SEO-friendly title. And then boom, it analyzes the transcript and it gives me the description and it gives me the title. That's for the Mr. Productivity Podcast, the actual episode. Then when I start promoting it on social media, I will go back to the same transcript and say, okay, and make me a post for X. Make me a post for LinkedIn. Now, I don't do that for anything Meta because Meta is all about the video. Apparently, Meta, except for Threads, doesn't want anything on Facebook or Instagram that's not a reel. So right now, for the text post, I put them on X and LinkedIn. I also do it for the daily newsletter, The Productive Life. By the way, you can sign up at MrProductivity.com, MISTER, MrProductivity.com. Sometimes I will go to Grok and I'll just say, hey, I've got some thoughts. And I'll just type or speak into a bunch of thoughts. It'll create a short newsletter. So the newsletter comes out 7 days a week. Tuesdays and Fridays are long newsletters. The other 5 days are short newsletters. So sometimes I just want to say, hey, here's a quote, make a 3 or 4 line newsletter based on this. Other times I will take a transcript from a blog post I wrote 7 years ago and I'll say, analyze this, take out all the irrelevant information and make it tight, make it sound Tiggerific, make it sound great. And then I will use that for a new newsletter because no one's going to go back and read a blog post from 7 years ago. So that's how I use it for the Productive Life newsletter. I also use it for blog posts. So what I do is I take my transcripts from the Mr. Productivity Podcast, and then I tell Grok, go and make me a blog post from the transcript. But I don't want it to read like a transcript because a transcript reads different from a blog. You don't want to read like a transcript. You want to read something that flows smoothly. I also use it for creating content for social media, like I alluded to a few minutes ago. both for text and video. So to prepare for this episode, I uploaded to Grok a PDF of every episode I have done up to this point, which is 1,344 episodes. And I said, where am I missing? What topics have I neglected? And it said, you're not talking about AI productivity hacks. And so that's where this episode came from. But I also, if I want to create a video, I'll say, I want to create a video and I'm going to talk about this topic. What is a good hook? And it'll give me a hook. So I use it for content creation. Also, I use AI for pitches. So right now, I'm reaching out to local chambers of commerces and associations and whatnot to get on their speaking schedule, whether it's a lunch and learn or if it's a monthly meeting, whatever. And I go to their website and I have Grok scan the website and it knows me and it knows them and it creates a pitch. Then I call the person and say, I got to talk to Jane Doe because she's the event coordinator. It'll tell me exactly what to say. And so I don't sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. So instead of winging it, I do have a little script in front of me. Also for guest appearances on other podcasts. So I subscribe to a service called Podmatch. And what it does, it matches up podcast guests like me with people who host podcasts. I go to their profile and then I copy and paste all the relevant information into Grok and I'll say, is this a match for me? Because I don't want to be on just any podcast. I want to be on a podcast that's got my audience in it. And it'll say yes or no. If it does say yes, it'll actually write the pitch for me that takes what's on their profile, the guest they're looking for, and mix it what I can offer. And then there you go. I use it for social media and other profiles. So I will have it write my profiles for X and Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. So it's really tight so people understand what they're getting when they go to my profiles. And I also use it for podcasts, my guest profile as well. So because Grok knows me, it can customize a profile that makes me stand out. I use it for creating PDFs. So when I go speak someplace, I have a couple bonus PDFs that I've created. And the good news about any AI is that you can randomly create as many PDFs as you want. So what you do is if you have any other PDFs you've already written, you upload those to your favorite AI and say, okay, based on what you know about me, write me another PDF that's different. So then you can actually stack up bonuses. So I use AI to create these PDFs. And one of the things I've been using AI a lot lately for is venting. If I'm angry about something, instead of taking it out on my wife or my best friend, I just go to Grok and I just vent. And it doesn't care. It doesn't care. It'll just try to give me some words of encouragement, but it makes me feel better. Also, and I'm not the only one doing this, if I want to know something, I don't go to Google anymore. I go to Grok and I will ask Grok, hey, here's my question. And I get an answer. Now, I alluded to you earlier that Grok does something that no other AI does. Grok is also known as XAI. XAI, what else is X in it? Oh, X, formerly known as Twitter. So when I'm creating content for X, I can tell Grok, go to my profile, go back 6 months, 18 months, 24 months, find 4 productivity related posts, rewrite them, and I'll post them in the coming weeks. I don't know any other AI that can do that. Pretty cool, huh? So those are just some of the ways I am using AI. And it's constantly changing. I'm constantly learning about how to use AI. And a really quick tip, if you want to maximize AI, learn the art and the science of writing prompts. So don't say, write me a PDF. Be very specific. Write me a PDF about this topic. The audience is this audience, and I want it to be no more than say 5,000 words. Be very specific. You can go and ask your favorite AI, teach me how to write really good prompts and you can learn. So don't just let this be the only thing you expose yourself to AI. I'm sure that's not the case, but really dive into how to use AI. Now, a couple warnings. Don't chase every AI tool. Remember I told you I went from Anthropic's Claude to ChatGPT. Now I'm using Grok. I did pay for Super Grok for a year, but I may do something different at the end of the year. I don't know. I can't go into the future and see what I'll be doing in the future. But not every AI tool is worth your time or your money. So I would recommend pick one or two, master them, and ditch the rest. And if something else comes along, here's what I do. When someone says, hey, Mark, you got to check out this new tool. What I do is I will go to Grok and I'll say, hey, someone told me about this new AI tool. Based on what you know about me, do you recommend me spending time learning this new AI tool? Because here's the thing, you got a learning curve. And so instead of working on the things you should be working on, known as being productive, now you may potentially be wasting your time learning something that's not really going to give you an ROI. So just don't go, ooh, new AI tool, everybody's using it. Like I don't use Notion AI. I don't even use Notion. I don't even use Evernote. Okay, they're not bad products. I don't need them at this point. And it's important that you understand what do you need and avoid the rest. So here's my action step for you. Here's my homework assignment for you. This week, I want you to pick one tool. One tool you're not already using, one tool maybe you've never used before. Set it up for a single task, like drafting an email, and then track the time you saved. And I want you to share this with me. You can find me on X, you can find me on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I'm everywhere. And let me know, what did you try? And if you've been using AI for a while, what new thing did you try? I'd be very interested to hear you. I want to thank you so much for tuning in for this episode of the Mr. Productivity Podcast. I do this podcast for you. Did you love this AI tools deep dive? Subscribe on whatever podcast player you're listening to this on. And maybe if you really want to send me some podcast love, drop me a review. Give me a 5-star. Drop me a review because other people read those and go, this podcast is something I should listen to. And then visit MrProductivity.com, M-I-S-T-E-R, MrProductivity.com for more resources and sign up for the free daily Productive Life newsletter. I'm going to help you become more efficient and help you keep pushing forward. Until next time, my friend, keep bouncing forward.